bringing you the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Paul Lisnek and this is Comcast Newsmakers. This hour's newsmaker is Manny Flores, Alderman for the 1st Ward in the city of Chicago. Today we're talking about transparency and technology in government. I suppose one gets you the other. Alderman, it's good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me on the program.
What triggers this, the notion of transparency, is the use of TIFs in the city. We need to talk about it, so let's make sure everybody understands exactly what a TIF is.
It's tax revenue that's generated through property taxes for the purposes of development in communities that where we have seen disinvestment or blighted. It could be a good tool, one where we can help communities. But because these are taxpayer dollars, it's extremely important, critical that we maintain some oversight and that we inform the general public about what these TIF dollars, how they can be used, why we need them, and to also engage the community in deciding how these TIF dollars will be used for the purposes of development in their communities.
And what creates a TIF? In other words, if we have a new budget year and our property taxes pay for education, I mean, we know where a lot of it goes. So you as an alderman, if you want a TIF district or something to happen, why don't you just go to the budget committee or the mayor and say, look, I need X dollars for this? Why is that a TIF and not just a budget request?
Well, there's a very specific, the TIF is regulated by state legislation that sets forth a very specific protocol in terms of how this money can be used. But what we have discovered, Scott Walksback and I from Alderman of the 32nd Ward, is that there are gaps. There are way too many gaps in terms of oversight of TIFs. We had one particular project in the Republic Windows, if you recall. It's a company that closed after receiving $10 million, and then
Thank you very much.
wanted to leave to another state, and then also not only closed its doors, but left some workers out in the cold without offering to pay some money that was owed to them. Well,
and that leaves a sour feeling. So you and Alderman Wagaspak said, wait a minute, we've got the notion of transparency, let's turn to that. If you're going to have a TIF district, people need to know what's going on. So talk about your legislation, which for some reason is stuck in committee. Tell us what it calls for.
We have an ordinance that calls for all TIF agreements to be posted online in one central location, so not all over the place like we currently have them, and it's very difficult to find information. So we also want to set a very specific protocol in terms of the types of documents that should be posted. So not only the terms of the agreement, but also any type of compliance reports that are also part of the TIF agreement to make sure that these companies who are receiving TIF dollars and who we want to help promote grow because we're growing the local economy are doing with the money what they're supposed to be doing. We've seen what has happened with the TARP money, AIG. Now more than ever, it is critical to be using our taxpayer dollars wisely and to offer the transparency that we need to make sure that these dollars are used in the way that we initially envisioned them.
And that's why we incorporate technology in the discussion, because the technology is there. President Obama has called for on the federal level exactly what you're talking about, and they, perhaps not to 100% level, but they are making it more available for people to go see where the money is going. In your situation, first of all, let me ask you, this is caught in committee. Why? I don't understand why anybody would have an objection.
It begs a question. My view is this: the technology is out there. It's inexpensive. We will actually be saving the taxpayer dollars money by enabling the administrators to process this information faster, with less people, and also just to make it more readily available online, and so that you have also more eyes making sure that these companies are doing what they're supposed to be doing with these tax dollars.
If you had, by the way, if you had this transparency, would the problem that happened in Scott's ward, in Wagaspak Ward, would that have been prevented because you might have seen it coming from online reporting?
I don't know if it would have been fully prevented, but if nothing else, we would have had a better understanding of how the agreement was supposed to work. We would have had more eyes on the agreement, recognizing to ensure that the company was hiring the 600 employees that they were supposed to, and to also monitor, better monitor the condition, the state of the company. It's not in the city's best interest to see companies close and move outside the state, especially after we had already invested $10 million. We could have perhaps gone in and tried to help this company stay long term.
Yes or no? Does the mayor support it?
I don't know. I would hope that he supports transparency. I would hope that he would support good government.
All right. Because if he does, you'll get it. This hour's newsmaker has been Manny Flores, the alderman of the 1st Ward for the city of Chicago. I'm Paul Lisnek. Thanks for watching us here. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
The preceding was a presentation of Comcast Newsmakers. Now back to CNN Headline News.